What's going on, guys? So this is my gaming setup. Hear me out here, okay? I want you to wait for it. You guys, this is gonna blow your mind. I'm about to blow your mind. This is my gaming setup. I've got a nice high-end gaming PC on the wall there. Right, super fancy, custom liquid cooled and all that. I got triple 4K monitors. So right now I've got Doom Eternal running at 4K Ultra Nightmare graphic settings, completely maxed out, getting well over 100 FPS. I've got Adobe Premiere Pro open in the background and a few browser tabs, Discord, Twitter, right? Okay, so what's the big deal, Kyle? I mean, obviously a high-end gaming PC can run all that, no problem. But what if I told you that this isn't being run off of that PC? Everything you see here is being run off of the Aya Neo 2, this little dinky little handheld gaming device. To be fair, we do have some help from an eGPU, which is an RTX 3080 Ti that's connected to this, but this is literally handling everything that you see here. And it blew my mind. The second I realized that that little device could do all of this, well, that's when I picked up the camera and started recording.
Before we continue, thanks to CD Key Offer for sponsoring this video. Right now, CD Key Offer is having a Windows 10 sale, including global lifetime keys for Windows 10 Pro. Right now, they're even letting you stack my offer code on top of their offer. Use code BW20 at checkout for an additional discount and snag a legit Windows 10 key for just 16 bucks. Afterwards, simply view and copy the key you just purchased, paste it into the Windows activation page, and presto. Enjoy every feature Windows 10 has to offer, ditch the watermark, and even use it for a free upgrade to Windows 11. CDKeyOffer.com is also having a back-to-school physical sale on gear like mechanical keyboards, gaming headsets, RGB decor, and more. Remember, kids, just because you're going back to school doesn't mean you can't leverage this awful time in your life to your benefit. By the way, you don't need to be a student to take advantage of any of these deals, so congratulations! Everything sucks a lot less for you. Check out the links in the description below and start browsing all of the limited time deals on CDKeyOffer.com.
What's up, guys? So yeah, this is just sort of a talking head video because I wanted to just share this with you. I wasn't planning to make this video. Aya Neo, is that the name of the company as well? At any rate, the people who are responsible for this device sent me the device. What's this thing about? You know, why is it $1,100? Why is it almost 3 times as much as the Steam Deck? And then I started doing some digging, and I even asked you guys on Twitter, like, what's the deal with this thing? Why are people losing their minds over this thing when it's so much more expensive than the Steam Deck? And people started telling me what it can do. And then I started messing around with it and finding out for myself, and I was like, holy this is insane. Like, the Steam Deck is a toy. This is a mini PC. The Aya Neo 2 is just a freaking straight up computer. There's a lot that goes into that, right? It's running Windows natively as opposed to SteamOS on the Steam Deck, which is based on Arch Linux. And with that comes just a much more polished desktop UI. It's just the desktop experience is so much better on Windows than it is on the SteamOS. Now, you can do some workarounds with the Steam Deck to get it up to par, but who's got time for that? I just want it to work out of the box, do all this stuff, and it does that. So Windows, obviously you can run any game as well, pretty much any game that you can run on a normal gaming PC. You can run on this thing, anything from the Steam Store, Epic Game Store, whatever. You know, the fact that it's Windows, so it can run Windows desktop apps. I have Adobe Premiere Pro. I was editing 4K video footage flawlessly. It doesn't make any sense. I can really see why you might, like, how you could justify spending 1,100 bucks on this thing, and that's starting. Mine is 32 gigs. It's configured with 32 gigs of LPDDR5. It has 2 terabytes of storage, NVMe storage, PCIe Gen 4. It also has a Ryzen 7 6800U, which is rocking that RDNA 2 architecture, so it's got a 680M, Radeon 680M graphics. And when you're using it in handheld mode, the screen is 7-inch, 1920 by 1200, but I would scale it down to like 800p if you really want to get over 30 FPS in a lot of the more demanding games. It can do like 60 FPS in like the really light indie titles, stuff like that, maybe a few esports games. But where this thing really shines, where this device really makes sense at $1,100 is when you use it as a mini PC, when you dock it, when you have a dockable setup like the one I have here. If you're just using it to game handheld, then just get a Steam Deck because it's 3 times cheaper if that's all you're gonna do. If all you're doing is gaming handheld on the Aya Neo 2, you're leaving, in my opinion, you're leaving a lot of money and performance on the table. Another thing that sets the Aya Neo 2 apart from the Steam Deck is that not just that it runs Windows, but also that it supports eGPUs. Right now I have an RTX 3080 Ti connected to this device, and it's just making all my games fly. At 4K, mind you, at 4K, it's doing work. So like I said, I'm doing like Doom Eternal. Oops, what's going on here? So yeah, I've got an external GPU connected. There are some caveats to that though. For one, you're not gonna get 100% of the performance that you would see if you were to just slot that GPU into like a full by 16 slot of a motherboard, because you're dealing with some limited bandwidth due to the Thunderbolt 3 connection. So maybe you're getting 10, 15, maybe 20% less performance out of that card. And then the other caveat is that this doesn't work seamlessly. Like for me, it was plug and play. Pop the 3080 Ti in, installed NVIDIA drivers, done deal. But what's been reported is that a lot of AMD cards are not playing nicely with devices like this. The AMD drivers are a complete mess, which is interesting because this is like the Neo 2 is an AMD-based processor, but that's, I guess, irrelevant. But what I found is that GTX 10 series cards all the way up to RTX 30 series cards work pretty well. 40 series, a little finicky. If you're not sure, don't roll the dice. It's too new, it's too fresh. But 10 series to 30 series, you're usually in good shape. But yeah, I've been testing at 4K as well as 1440p just to gauge frame rates and see how we're doing with that 3080 Ti helping us. We're pushing well over 60 FPS at 4K. Well over 60 FPS. At 1440p, well over 100 FPS. I mean, obviously, yeah, you gotta incur the extra cost of the discrete GPU and the enclosure and that sort of thing. But just having the option of expandability is something that the Steam Deck just doesn't have. So maybe on the next revision or whatever, but the fact that you can do that, it means that you can really push this little handheld a lot further. Now, I have seen some videos online of people connecting an external GPU to a Steam Deck through very tedious workarounds, like they have to buy an M.2 to PCI Express adapter and then like do this weird MacGyvering, connection to a GPU. It's a mess. It's a total royal mess. It's tedious. You have to spend extra money. Who has time for that? Whereas the Neo 2 can just do it natively out of the box. It's pretty awesome. I've been editing, man. I've been editing on this thing. It's crazy. I've been using Premiere Pro. The render times are pretty decent. Plus with the connected external GPU, it's got some assisted rendering performance there. Sorry for the super random cut-in, but while we're on the topic of video editing, I just want to confirm and let you guys know that this video that you're watching right now was edited on the Neo 2. I'm actually editing the video that I just shot that you're watching right now. I've been editing for the last hour or so. It's just smooth. It feels weird. Is this like, can we do this? This feels wrong, but apparently we can. Most of the reviews of this thing are focused on the fact that it's a handheld gaming device. They're treating it like as such, which it is, but I wanted to bring more attention to the fact that it can do so much more, and that's why it's priced a lot higher than a Steam Deck. It's also just way smaller. Like, the frickin' Steam Deck in comparison to this thing, you can't really tell on camera. The Steam Deck is massive. It's a freaking, remember when like the Wii U came out and they used to call that the giant pad a dinner plate? This is the new dinner plate. This is ridiculous. And also like there's bezels, there's like ugly bezels around the screen on the Steam Deck. It's completely bezel-less on the Neo 2. From left to right, top to bottom, it's all screen. Whereas this already looks dated. The Steam Deck just looks old to me in comparison now. The joysticks they're Hall effect joysticks, which uses like magnets and stuff. They're super accurate. You don't get like joystick, like the drift and stuff like that. Really good quality controls. Everything feels good, feels solid. The A, B, X, Y buttons are solid. Good throw on the triggers. The temperatures are in check too. Like right now, GPU is irrelevant because whatever, you're gonna add your own, that's gonna vary. But in case you're wondering, 75C on the RTX 3080 Ti right now from Doom Eternal. The CPU is chilling, dude. It's chilling at 58. It's only pulling 10 watts at the moment, according to Afterburner. That's another thing, is that you can adjust the TDP of this device. Anywhere from like, I think 3 watts all the way up to 33 watts. Obviously that's going to heavily impact the performance, the temperatures, and the noise levels as well. And obviously battery life is just gonna tank. If you crank it up to 33 watts TDP, then you're gonna get less than an hour of game time. So if you do want that extra performance, then you wanna also make sure that you're plugged into power. But for a while I was like seeing kind of like lackluster performance and realized, oh, it's because it's operating at 5 watts right now. I switched the TDP to 22 watts and just saw the frame rates just blow through the roof. And that's not even the max. Like I said, max is 33. At that point, it's getting a little hot. Not dangerous level or anything like that, but it's getting toasty, and you know, the little fans in it ramp up higher, so it's a bit more audible and stuff. I found 22 watts to be sort of the sweet spot, especially because we got the eGPU connected. But overall, this thing is just ridiculously cool. The whole moral of the story here is that if you're gonna buy this thing, you have to be using it to its fullest to really justify the price. You don't even have to get an external GPU. Get a monitor, connect a monitor to it, connect a keyboard and a mouse, and get the dock. You absolutely need to have a docking setup to justify spending $1,100. But if you do that, if you do all those things, it's crazy. I'm just kind of enamored by the whole thing. I mean, you can just connect all your peripherals, connect an Xbox controller to it, you know, a headset. I haven't tried streaming with it. I don't know how it would do with streaming. I don't think it can really game and stream effectively, maybe in some very limited scenarios, but if you wanted to do just chatting, you know, stream away. 6800U? Sure, why not? You know, you bump it down to 720p or something like that. I know this video is all over the place and I'm just kind of rambling and stuff, but I really just wanted to share this with you guys because I'm just so blown away by it, and no one told me that this device could do all this stuff. You know, here I am just thinking this is a really overpriced Steam Deck, when in reality, it's a perfectly viable mini PC that just happens to also be a handheld device. Hopefully you guys don't mind the very unscripted format. It's very loose, but I just had to take a moment to geek out with you guys on this thing. So let me know what you guys think. I'm curious to hear your thoughts, and maybe there's something I missed that you'd like to share with the class as well. Leave it down below. Toss a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Get subscribed for more tech content on the way, and I will see you guys in the next video.